From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, you are in the mix with the Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Fred. I'm, of course, Tasha. Don't forget to catch us on all social media at A Vibrant Mix. Don't forget to check out past shows at avibrantmix.com and catch us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Central on Vibe and Radio, vibe-n.com. If you are watching the video, then you know that we are here sans Tamiko and Fred, but that's okay. We have a live in-studio guest with us today. Well, I guess it's not live if I just told you it was videotaped. But our in-studio guests are Mark and Imani Howard. And they're beautiful girls. Hey, girls. And they're here to talk to us about their new show, The Howards. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's just kind of jump right in. So I'm nosy. Obviously, I asked to see the video. You gave it a unique title, The Howards. No, I'm kidding.
I thought so.
It is a docudrama-dramedy. Tell me about that.
Well, I called it I labeled it a docudrama because it is a documentary. It's got a little drama in it, and I thought, with the kids, that add a little comedy. So I just wanted to combine the three, documentary, drama, and comedy. So I came up with docudrama.
Okay, so tell me, let's start from the beginning. How did the Howards come to be? And I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about you all. How did you all meet? Tell us about the beginning. Imani's like, you?
Well, it was actually at a Borders. It used to be the Borders on 95th, right off of Western. We met there, and that was the summer of 2008.
Okay.
And actually, I was going to look for a book, but I was obviously distracted. And I like to tell this story. I hope I'm not embarrassing Imani too much. But when I saw her, I was looking for a book. She walked in, and I was like, wow. And then she was going up the stairs, and I said to myself, okay, if she looked back, then I'll follow her up the stairs. And when she got to the steps, she looked back. And here we are with 2 kids later.
I love it. So what was the impetus for creating this docudrama?
Well, I watched a lot of movies. I watched a lot of television. And with children now, I think as a parent, I'm a little more cognizant of what I watch and what they watch. And for so long, I've always been mindful of, what I want to put on the screen and what my children watch.
Sure.
So I kind of combined the two. I wanted to put something that I would be proud of and then something she can watch. In fact, when I was picking up Zoe from school, I was showing it to her, and she was like, oh, that's me, that's mommy, that's Araya. So it was kind of a project where I just wanted to do something, that was family-oriented. And it's easier to do a documentary style because you could just kind of set the camera up and let people just be. There's really no rehearsal. There wasn't a script. Everything was basically what you saw. I just kind of set the camera somewhere, and everybody just was, doing what they do.
Now, you're a filmmaker. Tell us about that, because obviously you've combined the two, the love of your family, the love of film, the desire to present something positive that your children will be proud to watch. Tell us about your background in film.
I'm sorry. She's getting excited. Well,
she knows she's on a Vibrant Mix.
Right.
So, shout out to the baby.
I guess the acting bug bit me like 85. I'm kind of dating myself now.
Listen, there's only one way to not get old. So, we're cool with it.
And so, from there, I just got into, acting and films and movies and writing. Right now I do a lot of writing because, with the family, there are other responsibilities. Yes.
Somebody wants to be on the mic.
Responsibilities I have. So so I do my own independent work. That's the most recent thing I did was the documentary. I have a website where I have some things I've done. And so I'm trying to just build a portfolio so as I network with people, they can kind of see what I've done and ultimately have a film distribution company and, just do what I love to do.
So this project, what was the goal? I know you wanted to, create something, but are there plans to develop that into something else? And Imani, feel free to jump in here, okay?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the show The Howards, because I was just thinking a documentary when I did it. But as you know, mainstream television, we think of the Jeffersons. Actually, the font of The Howards is the Jeffersons font. And we think of The Cosby Show. And there are other shows that I was thinking of in terms of bringing back the black family, the traditional black family. So right now I'm shopping it at film festivals. If it could get picked up as a show, that would be great. Situational comedy will be excellent. But right now I'm just trying to get some exposure and entering it to film festivals, and then just connecting with people to let them know. Put it on Facebook. Well, I put the trailer on Facebook. I haven't released the full video itself because I just want kind of garnish a little momentum with it first.
Sure, get that tease out, pique people's interest. Sure. So obviously you mentioned that this is authentic. This is you setting up the camera, giving everyone insight into your life. What has been the reaction from other people?
Well, based on just the teaser, not many people have seen the actual film, but a lot of people thought it was, was cute. Using my daughters was a good way to kind of draw people in to be emotionally connected to it. I got feedback from people that it was good to see, a black family together. It was good to kind of see, something different, even though it's a traditional setup with the husband and wife, the father, the mother, and the kids.
Sure.
But I think people just felt pleasant. They just kind of felt cool. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Heartwarming.
When is it coming out? So I was just like, waiting for the right time to release it. So people have responded pretty positively. And that's initially what I wanted, people to have a positive reaction to it. And then hopefully it can build to something that people will want to see like every week, Thursday night. Must-see TV.
Indeed. I'm down with that. So was there any, not negative reaction, but any kind of cautionary, maybe, do you want to open your life up to the opinions of others? Because how, what we say in the Clapton family, full disclosure, Mark and I are former colleagues and friends. Our family saying is, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. What do you think? About those kind of cautionary, well, maybe you shouldn't do this kind of responses.
Well, I haven't got any to that degree, and in filming it, I was conscious of that, how much I was willing to show and what I wanted to open up to people. And I don't know if Imani had any thoughts concerning that, because I know, when you put the children in front of the camera,
sure,
it's probably a different reaction with the mothers, because they're by nature want to be a little more protective. But I made sure that I did it in a way where it didn't really compromise any safety.
Definitely,
it did give some exposure of who we are, and in a positive light. So I haven't had anything to that degree that had me to think, well, maybe I shouldn't show this, or maybe I kind of went in ahead of time realizing there's certain things I would show, certain things I wouldn't show.
Sure. Now, Imani, was there any discomfort in taking on a project like this? Like, your husband's the filmmaker. Were you kind of like, oh boy?
No, not really. I mean, he's done so many different projects that for me, it's just like, oh, okay. I actually was the one that told him that he should start probably trying to do something related to family.
Okay.
Most of his other projects were more like the sci-fi
genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told him, I think America wants to see, a positive black family, especially, just coming off of our great president and, just the whole...
yes. Right.
That whole ordeal. So I told him, why don't you do something about, a positive black family, a mother, father, children, in a positive light. So that's what that came from. But no, I wasn't cautious. When I saw some of the footage back, I was like, ooh, I'm always in my headscarf. And I'm like, wait a minute now.
But you're at home. room.
No, I know, but no, it's completely fine.
Okay. What was the most fascinating thing? And that question is for each of you. What was the most fascinating thing about seeing your life kind of play back as you watched that footage?
Well, I think for me,
you all are so cute. How you look at each other first. I love black love.
I think for me, I just felt good to see Zoe in particular, because she was old enough to kind of act a little more, because I did a previous project that I had with Imani. I had got the idea to do this one as well, where I just kind of put the camera on her, and at that time she was, I think, 11 months.
Okay.
And so to see her kind of light up, there's a part in the video where, I just kind of put the camera on her. She's got a guitar, she's singing, we got puppets.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of show her in her element, because that's how she is. At home, she's the show. She'll put on a show for you. We'll turn on music. She's dancing. She's doing whatever. So it was good to kind of let people see, how our life is in terms of, how she's kind of cool, like that. And my wife is, she's not the person that wants to be in front of the camera. So that's true to life, how you don't see her that much. So I had to be cautious in that sense. I had to make sure, okay, I do have her in her headscarf maybe too many times. So when she was nice and pretty, she had a nice dress in one scene when we took the pictures. I wanted to make sure I showed that as well. So
absolutely. What about for you? Anything that just kind of stood out that was fascinating?
You know what? It's interesting just to see the unit, as a whole.
Sure.
Because when you're going through it, living your daily lives, you don't see how it's playing on camera. So to see it actually playing back on camera was like, oh, okay. Yeah, and like he said, with just watching our daughter evolve, just how Zoe has evolved so much. Just watching her and how she's grown, and that's the best part.
I love it. So has this project impacted your marriage? Have you thought about, have you ever looked at a scene and said, well, maybe we could have said that a little differently, or I'm proud of the way we handled that? Positive, negative, anything?
I actually wanted to add more footage, positive, because I really wanted to show as much of us as I could. But there were technical issues, because if, like, my wife and I are in the scene together, the camera obviously has to be somewhere, because we didn't have like a camera guy in the house.
Right.
So that kind of took away from the aesthetics of it.
Sure.
Because I actually wanted to show her at her job, like when she was going to work, but that was kind of logistics issue. So she wouldn't seem like one-dimensional, like she's just
Absolutely.
at home. I wanted to show that she has a life too. She, she works, she does other things. So that's something I definitely wanted to implement, but couldn't quite get, to her job, because we're both in education. So we work during the day. So I could have taken off, but I didn't.
Yeah, maybe. I can understand why you wouldn't. So you mentioned that Zoe is the star, generally. That's just who she is. That's her personality. Did she realize she was a part of a project, or was it just Daddy and Mommy and their camera?
I think Daddy and Mommy and their camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for her, it was just like, all right then.
Right.
Back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I mean, it came off as very authentic. When we look at reality shows, whether they're, one unit or they become a series, it begins to feel contrived. What was the key for you to keep it authentic? Like, did you realize, okay, the camera's on? Were you thinking about it? How did that go?
Well, yeah, I think it was because I couldn't block a shot, meaning I couldn't, okay, you stand over here, you stand here. I didn't want to script it.
Of course.
And it was hard to script it, because with our daughters, they're not going to go by the script, because,
Not at all.
There were times that I did speak with Imani and say, okay, here's let's kind of talk about this, to kind of give it, some dramatic effect. And although it was truthful,
Sure.
to kind of give it some reality. But other than that, I would just kind of set the camera up and ask my wife, you okay? And maybe show a portion of her, so she, because she's kind of camera conscious, and I want to put it like right on her.
Sure.
And then once we did that, and once Zoe kind of saw what was going on, then it became okay. She's going to do her thing, and then we just kind of followed her a lot of times. Like she would just do something, we just kind of jump in and act too.
Zoe the star. I love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. So you have 2 beautiful girls, 3, 6 months. Any plans for more kids? You probably hate that question, but I'm asking anyway.
Can I answer that one? No.
Yeah. I don't live with y'all. Whoever wants to answer.
Well, we are
different opinions on
we
that.
are.
Honestly, we do.
Okay, understood. Then I'll move on.
No, it's fine. You can talk about it.
Well, what are the differing opinions?
Well, I think it's
not my intent to make anyone uncomfortable. Go ahead.
Well, no, as a father, for me, it was I guess a natural response as a man to want a son, and that's been the only issue.
Okay.
Not that I'm any less proud or thankful for 2 daughters.
Sure.
I'm ecstatic.
And as a daddy's
grateful.
girl, let me say that we will never put you in a home ever.
So, but I had to consider, my wife's the one that's having the baby. So, and we talked about it. She expressed how she felt. I expressed how I felt. And again, I'm no less. I don't want to use satisfied, but I'm no less thankful or grateful.
Sure.
For the girls. So, I'm thankful for the 2 daughters.
Absolutely.
But as a man, you want to do boy things, and, but I have as much fun as I can with Zoe, and she likes to run around just like any little boy does. So it's cool.
You mentioned earlier that you wanted to make sure that you showed Imani in a multifaceted life. What is it that you all do when you're not at home? Tell me about what the Howards do when they're not at home, when they're not working in education. What do you like to do?
I think we do like a lot of family activities.
Sure.
Whether it's birthday parties, going to the grocery store. Just things as like a family unit. We do that. We also try to make sure though that we get our individual time.
Sure.
I think that's important as well. So he's very supportive. If I say, okay, I need some girlfriend time now, for me to go with my girlfriends. If he needs to go, hang out with his friends or coworkers, whatever that might be. So I think, we have a good balance of making sure that we have family time, whether that's on a Saturday, going to church on Sunday.
Sure.
As well as our own individual time.
Okay. Sounds good. So, tell us more about your film company. You said you've done some projects. What kind of projects have you done, Mark?
Well, I've done mainly shorts because just coming up, finances can be an issue. You trying to start any company. So with
Tell
the camera,
me about it.
that my wife was just so lovely. It was actually a gift from her.
Aww.
So she's part of the vision as well. So what I do, I try to shoot things that I can do within the budget I have.
Absolutely.
So the documentary with the family was a no-brainer. I did a stop motion animation, which was with, I actually started with the iPhone and with a camera, which is easy because, you don't have to deal with actors with attitude. So I had like action figures and I would just take pictures of them, and it was, it was something I could do. So, my biggest project is probably a film entitled Zachariah Tucker, which is about family, but it's about a crime family. And that was something we worked with a guy, Jason Honeycutt. He's out of L.A., and he shot it on the Red camera. It was it was probably my biggest budget to date. It's a short film. It's on my website, and that was probably the biggest thing I did. And it's interesting that the theme and the sci-fi, the documentary, and the crime drama, the thing that connects them, all 3 of them, is family. So I'm assuming my next project will perhaps have to do something with family. So
sure, that's the theme, and I think what you said at the beginning of the interview is really important to show Black people in a positive light.
Right,
A lot of times people have no experience with actual live Black people, maybe out of what they see on television.
Right.
And if some of the imagery that's out is all they ever see, then it's, you know, you expect, you know, some tomfoolery. You expect the, you know, if it's not enough. And then the other component is, like you said, what you want your children to see.
Right.
You know, the reason Black Panther has been so popular, I'm just now seeing it.
Yay, Black Panther.
Is because there was such strong positive imagery.
Right.
You know, there was a villain, you know, but even his reasons for being a villain
made sense.
Yeah. And it was about community.
Right.
You know, he clearly went about it in a way that went south. But his motive was pure, and I think that's really important. What kinds of, obviously everything will, well, not everything, but things you do will be centered around family. What kinds of other projects do you see yourself doing?
Well, my passion dream project is, it's interesting you mentioned Black Panther. I have a character that I've been working on for as long as I can remember, who's a black superhero, and that's like my dream project that hopefully in the next 2 years, I'm either finishing the script or you know, scouting locations. But that's something I've always wanted to do. I guess as a kid, I always thought I was a superhero.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and now I think now is a good time for it, because obviously Hollywood has opened the door, and they see that, you know, especially with the movie making as much money as it did, and that's obviously a good reason to give open the door to more non-traditional superhero characters. And I mean, I've got thousands of other ideas. I thought of a military war movie. Currently, I'm writing a script entitled Tow. It's about a ex-con who, he's a tow truck driver, and he learns unconditional love from a woman he meets that he's, you know, it's kind of hard to receive because he's an ex-con, he's a underground street fighter. So he works as a tow truck driver. So I'm trying to, I write stories that kind of relate to everyday people, that kind of connect people. And there's always a redeeming theme that I try to permeate through everything I do.
That's good. That's good, because we had an educator in, was it in Florida? No, I don't want to mess that place up, who just mentioned out loud to his students, you know, don't date those those black people, those black guys. They're not worth it. What? You know, so as, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same, unfortunately. And so that positive imagery is important. You mentioned earlier that the acting bug bit you, and I've only seen you in one play because I don't go that many places, but tell us about the acting side. So you have the you know, the filmmaking side. Tell us about the acting side.
Well, as I started, acting was something I still am passionate about, but as my life changed, writing, I learned that writing was the I don't want to say the easiest thing to do, but it was the more convenient thing to do, because I didn't need to go to an audition. I didn't need to have a budget. All I needed was pencil and paper. So the acting has kind of slowed down somewhat, and that's, you know, considering, like I said, I work during the day, and I like to do more television, commercials, and films, and most of the time they shoot during the day, which I can't do because I'm working as a teacher. So, and then, you know, I have a family now, so I have to take that into consideration. And so in that, I still act as much as I can, but I'm focusing a little more on writing and editing, because those things I can do at home. I have like I say, a pen and a paper to write. I have the editing software to edit. So that's something where I can use also to, you know, to connect with other people.
Sure.
But I still hope to have that one role where, you know, I'm like Denzel, you know, so.
Training Day Denzel, or?
Yeah, Training Day Denzel is pretty good. So he got an Oscar for that. Was at school.
I don't know how I feel about the Oscar for being a thug. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I thought Malcolm X was
a
great job.
Yeah, because the other Oscar he won, he was playing a slave. So
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As I sit here in my Black Lives Matter earrings. I'm just saying. Who is your favorite actor, favorite director?
Actor, I would have to say Al Pacino.
Okay. Why?
I think because I'm a 70s baby.
Okay.
And
Shout
I believe
out to the 70s babies.
70s cinema is like when cinema was pretty pure, in my opinion. And,
Okay.
you know, he kind of came on the scene in the 70s. And, of course, doing The Godfather and Godfather 2. I just thought he always had a raw passion where it didn't necessarily look like he was acting. He was just, you know,
being that character. He was that character.
Right.
There was no distinction. You know, I always say, you know, an actor is good when if they're a villain, you see him on the street, you want to fight. You know, you outside accosting people and they're like, I'm just at the store. Please get away from me.
Right.
You know, favorite movie?
Has to be A Raisin in the Sun.
Okay. Why?
Because the movie itself and what it says about a black family not necessarily trying to assimilate, but just trying to, you know, enjoy what all other families have the opportunity to enjoy. And Sidney Poitier's performance, there's one part in particular where every time I see it, I kind of lose it. So I'm not gonna quote it or act it out, because I don't remember it. But I know he's pretty good.
You don't remember it, but what was the scene? Describe it.
Well, it's the scene where he's telling his mom, because he had some money that the dad saved up, and they were going to use that money to move.
Sure.
But he used that money to invest. He gave it to one of his friends, and his friend was kind of crooked, and he left with the money. And so he was telling his mom how he was tired of being a chauffeur, and he was tired of his son seeing him serving the white man. He wanted him to be in the spot where his son would be proud of him. So the scene, yeah, I
remember the scene. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and again, the more things change, the more they man, I was just saying. Summarize the Howards, whether we're talking about the family or the docudrama. Summarize the Howards. You can't have dead air on the show, y'all.
I'm sorry. I forget we do it. No. I think a good summary would be life.
Okay.
And growth and
babies.
and potential. I think with two young daughters, my wife and I have been married for 5 years, so it'll be 5 years. I'll make sure I clarify that. It'll be
As if she
it'll
met
be
you,
5 years, June 22nd, 2018.
Yes, you see how he remembers?
So I think us being newlyweds, so to speak.
Sure. You're still newlyweds.
We're learning and we're growing and we're maturing. Yeah. So I think growth, life, potential, and beauty. In fact, we named Zoe. Zoe's name means life, and Zariah's name means beauty and light, because we thought as a family those are two things we really want to advocate as our children grow up.
Absolutely. Tell us your websites and how people can connect with you on social media.
Well, you can go to mcknightpictures.wix.com / Mark Howard. I'm also on Facebook, Mark H. Howard. My film, Zachariah Tucker, is at ztfilmsite.com. And I don't do Twitter. I haven't quite gotten there yet.
On Twitter.
Yeah, but
Instagram?
No.
Okay.
My wife's on Instagram.
Yay!
Yeah, she's like Instagram queen. And,
Good. How can people find you, Imani?
Imani, IMANIAE1 on Instagram, Facebook. What am I on Facebook?
That's all right. We'll find you. They'll find Mark. They'll find you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you reach out to me, and if it's something that anyone have a question or concern or whatever concerning my wife, I'll obviously relay that to her.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I appreciate the both of you, all four of you, being a part of the show.
Don't forget me.
Right. You have been in the mix with a vibrant mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Fred. Don't forget to catch us every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central on Vibe N Radio. That's vibe-n.com. Follow us on all social media, Twitter included, Mark,
yes.
at A Vibrant Mix. And we will catch you next week. Yay!
Bye.